Oh, hi guys! I'm Melissa. Welcome to today's Zoo to You. I'm here in the Franklin farm today, and I'm hanging out right now with Annabelle here. She's one of our guinea hogs. Annabelle is about 10 years old. She is super sweet, as you can tell. She loves her belly scratches, and this is one way we do a lot of different things with her. She loves everything. Oh my goodness, you're so sweet. Today's going to be a farm-based Zoo to You, so we're going to walk around and see everybody here in Franklin Farm. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer them during this video. If not, they'll definitely be answered in the comments later. So we'll start. Like I said, this is Annabelle, and she is a guinea hog. Guinea hogs are considered the ideal family farm pig. They are a heritage breed. And these guys, the reason they're considered ideal is because they don't get much bigger than this. This is about 200 pounds, and they basically stay, hi sweetie, as big as this once they get there. The males can be a little bit bigger, but not much. And they're super, super sweet. So size-wise, they're great for a small family farm. They eat lots of bugs. They also eat snakes sometimes. So they're really great to have in your garden, to turn up, and to just have out in your yard. And they're super sweet, so you can hang out with them at home too. Yeah. All right, let's go see if we can say hi to anybody else. Sorry, sweetie, I gotta go. She's not a big fan of it if we leave. She loves having us hang out with her all the time. Case in point. She likes to be a doorstop. So let's see who else we have. Oh, today we also have Brownie hanging out inside. Maybe we'll go see Squirt first. So this is Squirt. You can't really see him. Squirtle, what's up, bud? You gonna come over? So this is Squirt. He's our miniature donkey. He's in his high 20s. He's an old boy. He's actually been with us all his life. He started living at Stone Zoo and then moved with us here once we opened this big, beautiful new barn. Squirt was actually born blind. He does have teeny tiny little eyeballs in there, so they're extremely undeveloped. So you don't really see a lot. All right, well, he doesn't see a lot. Sorry. But as you can see, he likes to make circles, so that's kind of his way of getting around. He avoids the walls that way. But he also can hear really well. So when we're walking him to and from places, we'll tell him to step, and he knows that means there's a step there. We'll also, tell him when to stop, and hey, there's a wall. And sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't. But he is really good. He hangs out with Brownie, our pony, who we're gonna see in just a second. So this is Brownie. Brownie is about the same age as Squirt, maybe a little bit older. He's, I think, 28, 29. But Brownie here is what we call a dark bay pony. So he is called that because he is dark brown in color. That's the coloration that he is. A pony is any horse that is below 14 hands high. So they measure horses in hands. So like you stack your hands like this, that's how you can measure a horse. You can measure yourself and find out how many hands you are at home. So maybe your mom and dad or anything can measure you like they measure a horse, and you can see how you measure up to our ponies here at the zoo. Brownie here is actually a really special kid. He has a disease called laminitis, and that means his hoofs have a problem with the lamina in them. So the lamina is a connective tissue that usually fits really, really tight, but in him it's a little loose. So his bone's able to move a little bit in his hip. Sounds a little painful, but we manage it here with a lot of medications that help with the inflammation and swelling and pain. And he's actually been doing really, really well. He has been on these medications since I've been here, which is about 10 years. And he's been just doing fantastically. The underlying cause that causes his laminitis is called Cushing's disease, which is hard to explain, but it's kind of like, unless you're a horse person, who knows, but it's kind of like having diabetes if you're a horse. You can't have anything sugary because that will really just mess things up in your body. So he has sauté, which just basically leaches a lot of the sugars out, but still maintains that nutritional quality. And he also cannot get any apples or any sweet potatoes or anything like that. So things that we would love to eat. His favorite snack is celery, which is not my favorite snack, but he loves it. So we'll actually give that after he's gotten his meds as a like, you've done great, bud. And he takes it like a champ. So let's see what else we got. We've got a couple of new faces actually here. The newest guys are the sheep. I think I got some snacks for them, so maybe we can go in and see them all a little bit up close and personal. So these are black Welsh Mountain sheep. And for those of you that might be offering up some questions on the comments, we are having a little bit of technical difficulty with the comment section right now. So we'll probably answer all of those questions you have back in the comments later. I'm sorry about that, but technology is what it is. So here they come. These are our sheep girls. All 8 of them are black Welsh Mountain sheep. So we have 8 ladies. All of them have a name. All of them have individual personalities. These guys are another heritage breed. We actually got them from a local farm here in Massachusetts. Winifred is saying hi to Tina as she's filming. And these guys love their snacks. Their favorite thing are these Timothy pellets, which is basically just crushed up hay, but they seem to love it because of the binding agent, which is a kind of glucose. Hi, sweetie. She doesn't have anything for you. So like I said, these guys are all very food driven, and they absolutely love hanging out with us when we have snacks. So we actually do training with them. We are working with them to get them haltered. So there's 3 of us keepers who will stand in the stall. We have 3 different spots that we stand, and we each take a group of sheep. Sorry. And they hang out with us, and we feed them just like I'm feeding them now. But we also touch their ears, touch their heads, and get them used to having a halter on their face. So most of these girls are really good about it now. Oh, do we have a question?
Yeah, we have a question here now that my other phone is working.
Yay!
So we have Abby. Hi, Abby.
Hi,
she would like to know, how long do farm animals live for? How long for each, I guess, the sheep and the horse?
Okay. So the sheep and goats tend to live up to 15, 16 years. That's typically the max. Kiwi here is the oldest at 8 years old. Horses can live into their 30s. So, like I said, the boys are pretty old, but they are not old enough yet to be concerned about. And then our guinea hogs, Annabelle is right at that age. They live about 10, 15 years. So she's getting into the geriatric stage that we like to call it. So she's on geriatric care where we make sure are you eating your sister's fur? That's gross. But thank you for your question, Abby. That was a really good one.
So how much do these girls weigh as an approximation?
An approximation, I would say we haven't actually had a chance to fully weigh them yet. Like I said, they're still learning how to put on their halters and behave like that. We could probably put a station in here and walk them onto it with that one, but it takes a lot of work. But I would guess that they probably weigh in between 200 to 300 pounds, maybe a little bit less. They look like they weigh a lot, but they're mostly just a lot of fluff. So they could even be just in the hundreds.
So that comes to another question. Paloma asked if the sheep are skinny under the wool.
They are a little bit. Let's see if Kiwi lets me show you. They're not super skinny. These guys get lots of food, but they're a lot thinner than they think. I'm still trying to dig my hands in here, trying to find where her back is. So it's about a full finger thick of fur for at least little Miss Kiwi here. The other girls have a little bit less of a thicker coat, but they are in the same boat. So yes, they are a lot thinner than you think that they would be.
And we have someone who just came in now, Isabella. and Briella and Charlie and Toby, they all want to know how old the sheep are.
All right. Well, hi guys. Thanks for stopping by. So, oh gosh, so like I said, Kiwi is the oldest. She's 8 years old. The other girls are between 3 and 8. I'm not exactly sure which one, how that breaks down for each one. It's something I have to learn a little bit more about them. But we have 8 of them, so it's kind of hard to keep track sometimes. And I do know that Winifred here is our smallest sheep, and I think she's our hello. I think she's our youngest as well. She's sort of our last on the list here.
Megan would like to know how much they eat in a day.
So we measure out by flakes for these guys, which we'll show you in a minute what a flake is. But we give these guys anywhere between 12 to 13 flakes a day, depending on how much they're eating that particular day. And then they get about half a pound of this for training. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to stop because you guys already ate enough.
So my last question for the sheep before we move along,
sure.
Why do they have tags in their ears?
This is from the old farm that they were at. Think of them like earrings that you and I would wear. And, oh, don't you look so beautiful? And they are there to help mark them who they are. So the blue tags, yes, sweetie, thank you. The blue tag that you see on their ears, that has a number on it. And so that's kind of how we tell them apart. Most of us now know who they are by how they look. And obviously Kiwi looks very different than the rest of the girls. But when we first got them, they're kind of a mess today. We only understood them by their numbers. But now that we've known them for a little bit longer, we have them. So that's what those are for.
All right.
So we're gonna move on. Let me show you a little bit. Like, we've got a lot going on in here right now. You probably saw behind me that there is a bunch of shavings and hay stocked up in the barn. So this is kind of our prep for Corona as we're going on. We have a ton of shavings in here. I think we have about 150 bales, if not more, of shavings, or bags of shavings. I said this is their bedding. So this is what they sleep on, all this white stuff that you see on the floor. And then we'll show you our hay. Actually, here's a nice piece right here. So we've got our hay kind of in this stall as well as our hay barn. So this is what I was talking about when I said a flake of hay. So it's a chunk of hay. It's about 2 inches thick or so. This is Timothy. We have Alpha, which is like a bright green. And it's really, really rich. The goats are the only ones that get that. But this is the Timothy. So we give them, the sheep, about 10 to 12, or 12 to 13 of these a day, depending on the day. I'm actually going to throw this to you because that's pull it out without you guys getting some. All right, so we're going to see if we can say hi to some more kids and grab some snacks.
Stephanie says if we have any barn cats in the barn.
We do. I'm actually going to grab him in just a minute. I'm going to go pick him up and bring him down so you guys can see him for a second. And so let me go do that right now. And then we'll come see you. Yes.
And I'll say hello to Zeke.
Yeah. So you can
Hi, Zeke.
Where are you? Hello?
Hi, Egypt.
Waldo is hiding on me. All right. So, Waldo's hiding on me. I have to go find him. But we do have a barn cat. His name is Waldo. He is really, really cute. If he doesn't hide on you. But he loves to sleep under this hidden space in the barn. This is our closet. We keep all of our stuff in the coop here. Come on, Bubba. So, it's really, really warm under there, so he loves to sleep under there. Waldo, come on. Yes, hi. You want to come out? Okay. Come. See the public. They love you. Okay. So this is Waldo. This is our barn cat. He is a big love. He's spoiled by all of us. We sometimes also use him as our therapy cat because Who doesn't love cat snuggles? And he loves the snuggles too. So Waldo actually gets free run of the barn at night, and in the morning he gets that upstairs area right up there. He has a really sweet bachelor pad. His food and water's up there, as well as a nice couch, a TV, fun things like that. He, like I said, he's very spoiled. On occasion, he'll come hang out with us in our office, where if it's a really, really cold day, or if it's a little too hot, we have AC in there, and he can hang out with us while we have meetings and things like that, and stay cool.
Kat
Cat
would like to know if Waldo was a rescue.
He was. So actually, we found Waldo under, in our parking lot, and he was surrendered there. Not by choice, I think. But our veterinarian at the time called up my boss, Lisa, and was like, hey, do you want another barn cat? And she said yes. He was a baby at the time. He was just a little kitten. So our barn cat at the time, George, he took Mr. Waldo in and taught him the ways of the barn. And now we have an equally sweet cat who probably needs a kitten to train soon. Waldo's about 17 years old, so he doesn't look it, but he's an old man. But he still catches birds midair. It's actually pretty cool. All right, so while I'm holding Waldo, because, why not? This here is Flopsy. These are some of our goats. Hi, Flopsy. Flopsy is one of our older goats. He's about 15 years old. Like I said, goats and sheep live to about 15, 16, so he's getting there. And then right here, this is Foles. Foles is our youngest goat. He is only about 1.5 years, almost 2. And he's correct namely after the quarterback who unfortunately beat us Patriots in the last Super Bowl we were in. It's a tough one, I know. Here, buddy. What are you doing? You falling? Okay. So this is our goat group. These guys hang out usually with us in the summertime. They'll come out to our petting yard, so some of you might be familiar with them and how sweet they are. And yes, can I see buddy? So these guys are Nigerian dwarf goats, which come from the country originally. But these guys are not a heritage breed. They're actually one of the only breeds we have in here who aren't. And they are very, very popular for petting yards and very, very popular for just family goats and such things like that. People have them on the farms and all that stuff. Some of you might notice that Foles here has some kind of crooked horns. So these guys do typically have horns. What are you looking at? Do typically have horns, but when they're born, most farms will try to dehorn them in different ways. Sometimes surgical, sometimes it's a branding iron, so it's like a really, really hot. And it hurts for a second, and they do it really young, so they don't have a lot of nerve endings up there, so they don't really feel it that much. Basically, his didn't take, so they still grew. And then he started headbutting things, and now they're crooked.
So we have a question here. How many goats do we have at the Franklin farm?
We have, how many are you? 5. We've got 5, 7, 8 goats total.
Cool.
So we have a set of 2. Whoa, where are you going? I'm going to put you back. We have a set of 2 boys. Who one is a fully intact male, and the other one is just a young one. So they're together. That's actually Simba and Vader. Simba is Vader's father, so they're hanging out together over there. We got this big group here who is Foles, who's this guy, Egypt, Flopsy, and Callie, and then Foles and Vader's mom, Leia, who is outside hanging out with another goat right now. And then we have our special boy, Mr. Zeke. Come here, handsome. Hi. So this is Zeke. Zeke, as you can see, he's by himself. He's special because he is learning how to be a goat again, or rather be a goat with manners. He just sort of forgot for a little while how to be a nice goat. And as you can see, he's got these nice big horns. So this is what their horns should look like once they're full grown.
Do we know how many inches that is, roughly? Megan would like to know.
I want to say, it's hard to tell because of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say they're about a foot long.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a little bit more than that, but with the curve, I want to say they grow about a foot.
And Jacob would like to know, Laura would like to know if goats really do eat tin cans.
They don't, they shouldn't. They may have the, relax, dude. They may have the potential to. But typically goats eat paper products. They'll try to eat everything, but they should just be eating things like tin pellets and hay. They will eat, though, poison ivy. Yes, see, this is what I'm talking about, manners.
Mm-hmm.
He's got those horns and he knows how to use them. All right, last bits, and then we'll go give some to the other kids. What are you doing? No, you're done? Okay. All right, so we're almost done, so I can take a couple more questions if anybody has them. And then I'm going to say goodbye once these guys are done. Oh, sports ball again. Everybody's making noise today. Happy Monday.
All right.
All right, so that's all the time I got for today. And thank you guys for stopping by. And be sure to check in tomorrow at 1:30 for another Zoo to You. Bye, guys.